indianos que têm direito à nacionalidade portuguesa pudesse ser um cenário de tratamento mais ou menos discriminatório, quase discriminação racial, como vimos recentemente, até apontando fontes portuguesas em jornais deste país. Parece-me absolutamente inaceitável que haja alguém que tenha a ousadia de propor que se faça uma alteração à lei da nacionalidade indiana de forma a excluir, talvez, os nossos irmãos com quem temos uma relação em termos de maravilhoso, mais intensa, porque é a relação histórica mais duradoura. Nunca foram indígenas, nunca foram tratados como indígenas, foram sempre tratados como povos a que nós chegamos, onde os portugueses chegaram e que consideraram com culturas superiores. Seria absolutamente inaceitável que houvesse uma alteração da lei em Portugal que fosse discriminatória por relação discriminatória dos cidadãos desta região, dos descendentes dos portugueses desta região, por relação aos descendentes dos portugueses do Brasil, dos Estados Unidos, da Venezuela ou do Canadá. Espero que todos nos juntemos com as nossas culturas diversas do Ocidente e do Oriente para continuarmos a ser orgulhosamente luso-indianos na Europa, porque nós portugueses somos, digo há muito, os indianos da Europa, com muito orgulho.
Thank you, Dr. Miguel Reis, for your beautiful chain of thought on this subject, and we hope that you will bring some more clarity already shortly debated issue in Goan society. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the moment of a symbolic act of launching the book at the hands of Advocate Naresh Savarikar. I request Professor Avikleta for Advocate Naresh Savarikar to So, I invite my colleague, senior colleague in my profession, Advocate Umesh Rao, to express his views on this book.
Good evening, friends. It's a great pleasure and an opportunity to address an august gathering like this with many of my colleagues and very intelligent audience who are so much abreast with the problems of the Portuguese citizenship of persons born in the erstwhile Estado de India and their descendants. The question of Portuguese nationality of citizens born in former Portuguese colonies on the west coast of India, that is Goa, Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, in recent time has attained a great importance. As you know, citizens of Portuguese possessions in India were never brought under the political, civil and criminal statute of indigenous population that was approved by Law Decree number 12,533 of 23rd October 1926, which gave a curtailed citizenship to the natives of the colonies. The citizens of the former Portuguese colonies in India enjoyed full rights and aftermath of the scheme of decolonization post-1975 situation ended up being recognized by Law Decree number 308A of 75 of 24 June 1975. The law which grants to those born in the state of India and to the defendants who might have been residing in the newly independent countries the rights as extensive as the ones that were granted to the descendants of persons born in the mainland Portugal and the adjoining islands which constitutes the archipelagos of Madeira and Azores. After integration of former Portuguese colonies in India with the Union of India between 1954 and 1961, Portugal came to recognize the said integration through a treaty which came to be signed on 3rd June 1975. Without prejudice from the legal point of view and in constitutional terms to the fact that these territories had continued to be deemed Portuguese up to the enactment of 25th April 1976 Constitution of Republic of Portugal. In the light of above, the issue of acquisition of Portuguese citizenship of Goans has attained tremendous importance. That upon signing of the Treaty of 1974 between the Government of India and the Republic of Portugal on the recognition of India's sovereignty over Goa, Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and other related matters, India perhaps fell into a trap of its own making by turning a bilateral code into a pivotal element for the analysis of the issue of de jure sovereignty and possibly of that of retention of Portuguese by a class of Indian citizens and of time frame thereof. By finding it necessary to sign the treaty after enacting the Constitutional 10th Amendment Act 1961 and the Constitutional 12th Amendment Act in 1972, and by not finding it necessary to seek the withdrawal and or denial of Portuguese citizenship to those already deemed to have become citizens of India. Under the citizenship orders, the Indian state ended up, on one hand, giving credence to the preposterous claim that the territories of the colonial Shah in India had remained in the limbo of United Nations non-self-governing territories right up to the time of the treaty. And on the other, letting go the best opportunity to settle once for all the vexed questions of residual Portuguese citizenship of Goans of that time. Since signing of the above treaty, the acts done by the Government of India within its sovereign national competence suggest that it is well on the way of accepting general regime of dual or multiple citizenship for its national step by step, as shown by the steady movement from concept of non-resident Indians, the persons of Indian origin, and further on to the overseas citizenship of India, extending these privileges to Indians holding foreign citizenships in various countries, including Portugal. Hence, there arises the question of Portuguese citizens of Goan origin. The Portuguese citizens of Goan origin can be categorized in 5 groups. The book has dealt with this question in a very lucid way, and on going through this book, you will find that they have divided or classified the Goans into 5 categories. Like Goans born in Goa to parents of Goan origin up to 19 December 1961, and those who meet the requirements of Portuguese nationality law by number 2098 of 29 July 1959. These Goans were Portuguese nationals by virtue of law and continue to be considered as Portuguese citizens even after India granted Indian citizenship to them with effect from the appointed day of 28 December 1961. They are now only required to integrate their earlier registration of birth in Goa into the central registry in Lisbon for the proof of their original Portuguese nationality or for enabling the attribution acquisition of the Portuguese citizen of origin to their descendants. The second category are those Goans born in Goa between 28 December 1961 and 2nd June 1975, the day before the exchange of instrument of ratification and coming into force of 1974 Indo-Portuguese Treaty on Transfer of Sovereignty. The status of Portuguese citizens and nationals of this category of Goans is contentious. Some hold that they are on par with the above category. Others, including the civil registration services in Portugal, treat them as only eligible for the attribution of ordinary citizenship. However, their Indian citizenship is clearly by birth. Now, the third category are those Goans who are born in Goa between 3rd June 1975, the date of the instrument of ratification and coming into force of the 1974 Portuguese Treaty on Transfer of Sovereignty, and 24th April 1976, eve of the date of coming into force of 1976 Constitution of Portugal, which did not list of territories of the erstwhile Estado de India as territories of Portugal. For the first time, that is, they were actually excluded. However, Portuguese law considers them to be eligible for attribution of candidacia originari in the capacity of descendants of Portuguese citizens. These Goans are Indian citizens by birth. The fourth category are those born in Goa or to Goan parents in direct line of descendants up to second degree, children or grandchildren of Goans in category 1, provided these latter have proof of their Portuguese citizenship, that is, they have transcribed or integrated the records of their birth into the Portuguese civil registration. They are eligible for attribution of Portuguese citizenship of origin. These Goans are citizens of India by birth. Now the fifth category, truly, is not a category of Goans, for it comprises the non-Goans who, irrespective of the place and the date of their birth and of their parentage, seek to avail of or facilitated acquisition of the Portuguese citizenship, to which they are not entitled neither by their own nor based on the descent. These two subcategories are those who gain access to Portuguese citizenship by virtue of marriage to Goan of any of the following categories. B. Those who resort to dubious means of identity theft, forged documents, etc. They are Indian citizens, one way or the other, who could otherwise have acquired the Portuguese citizenship by naturalization. In terms of the general regime availed under the laws of country, Portugal. In light of the above, this august gathering can easily come to the root of the highly debated Portuguese issue of the Portuguese citizenship of Goans and the alleged breach of dual citizenship. Now, time is short, and I would not like to go on elaborating. But the book deals with this subject in such a lucid manner, and Professor Afos has done full justice of this book, and it has been so lucidly translated that one fails to realize that it's a translation. It looks like a very original work of the subject, and I give full kudos to him for such a lucid work he has done. This book, on its plain reading, will give us the exact issue of the Goan citizenship, and on the basis of the categorization, we can easily come to a conclusion as to where we stand. Friends, I don't want to hold you from the talk and lecture of my other co-speakers, and therefore I earnestly urge you to go through this book, which will greatly help all of us to understand this very debatable question of Portuguese citizen, of persons born in erstwhile Estado de India and their descendants. Thank you.
Thank you, Advocate Bhupesh Rao, for your presentation from the manuscript. You were the first person to read the book. And we have seen the preview of the book. We are going to get review of the book later on. But now what we are going to get is overview of the book. So now I request